Hare Krishna. So I welcome you all for this ongoing seminar on Damodar Lila. In the month of Kartik, as we have repeatedly discussed, any amount of service that we perform to Sri Krishna, especially reading about him, chanting about him, hearing about him, we get unlimited benefits. And this month of Kartik is even more glorious because of the presence of so many festivals in this month. Like today is the most auspicious appearance day of Sri Radha Kund. Today's day is called as Bahulashtami. And today is the day when Sri Radha Kund, the sacred love pond of Sri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, manifested in this material plane or in Bhauma Vrindavan. So it's such a beautiful and auspicious occasion, not just to speak on the subject matters of Sri Krishna, but also to simply sit and receive this flow of nectar that Srila Shukadeva Goswami is giving us. So let us quickly offer some prayers, and then we'll get to the contents of today's discussion. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So before we start today's discussion, a quick recap of whatever we did yesterday. Those who were present yesterday are welcome to contribute and state the points that were discussed. So we started off saying that this portion of Damodar Lila appears in the 9th and the 10th canto, in the 9th and the 10th chapter of the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, and also the starting few verses in the 11th chapter of the 10th canto. Before this, Sri Krishna has appeared in Mathura, and Srila Shukadeva Goswami has described all the beautiful pastimes, like his name-giving ceremony, he killing Putana, Shakatasur, and Trinavarta, the whirlwind demon, and Krishna showing the universal creation in his mouth. And when Parikshit Maharaj asked this most important question, that what good fortune did Nanda and Yashoda do that Sri Krishna actually appeared and played in their courtyard? Like Nanda Maharaj being the father, and then Mother Yashoda being the eternal mother whose breast milk Krishna drinks. What is the auspicious activity? What are the austerities that these two great personalities performed? And in reply to that question, Srila Shukadeva Goswami starts the narration of Damodar Lila. So what was the scene that we discussed yesterday? Anyone? What was the scene that was depicted? So we discussed how Sri Krishna, who had received this tag or this name of being a butter thief, this Krishna was reprimanded by Mother Yashoda, and in response Mother Yashoda started churning her own yogurt. We discussed how Nanda Maharaj has over 900,000 cows, and she took it as her responsibility, she took it on her shoulders to pick the best cows out of these 900,000, milk them, and then make tasty, delicious milk preparations and products out of them. The aim was, if Krishna is given first class, best quality milk and milk products, then Krishna won't go out and steal. That was Mother Yashoda's idea. But we discussed why Shri Krishna was going out and stealing butter. It was because the Gopas, the Gopis, and all the cowherd men of Shri Vrindavan Dham, they used to do every activity, including churning, and pray and desire that may that Shri Krishna come and taste it. They used to think about the great fortune of Mother Yashoda, that Shri Krishna lives at her place. And they used to pray, when would that day be ours, when Krishna comes, or rather when Krishna came and ate all of this. And just to fulfill that desire, Shri Krishna came. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes Krishna's quality of stealing butter. He says, when the hearts of the devotees become as soft as butter in compassion and as white as butter in purity, that's when that butter thief comes and steals our heart away. The reason Krishna doesn't steal our heart at the moment, it's because it's hard rock. Our heart is hard and it's not melting. Pashu pakhi jure pashana vidhare shuni yar gunagatha. It is described in Bengali that simply by hearing the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even stones are melting. So therefore our heart should melt. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the day our heart melts and becomes as soft as butter in humility, tolerance, patience and compassion, and as soft and as white as butter in purity, that's when that butter thief who steals butter everywhere comes and steals our heart away. So as Mother Yashoda was churning yogurt, we discussed how her bangles were making sweet sound as good as Sankirtan. And Krishna, who was sleeping in the other room, his meditation or yoga nidra was broken and he came out. And this baby Krishna, who heard the beautiful songs of Mother Yashoda, Yani Yani iha gitani tad bala charitani cha dadhi nirmantane kale smaranti and agayata. So while churning, we discussed how Mother Yashoda was performing her daily activity and at the same time remembering and singing the glories of Shri Krishna. When we give excuses or we complain that, oh, I don't have time to chant my rounds, I don't have time to hear about Krishna, I don't have time to read about Krishna, this is the solution Mother Yashoda is giving. Dadhi nirmantane kale. She's not taking another extra time out because she's so busy. But the process that she's teaching us is that while she's performing her duty, her mind and her voice are dedicated to Krishna. So sometimes even when we are at work and it's not very taxing and we have some time out, immediately we must start chanting the holy name. We must try to remember one verse of the Bhagavatam every day. There are many devotees whom I know who carry small pocket books and they write down a verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam in that, and throughout the day, whenever they find some free time, they flip through those pages and try memorizing that verse. Inspiration. Instead of wasting time and gossiping and chit-chatting about mundane affairs, we can try to utilize every moment in Krishna's service. This is the sign of a sincere devotee. A sincere devotee, even amidst all calamities, somehow makes out some solution to remember Krishna. But when we are not sincere, even in the most conducive situation, we end up giving excuses. Like one time, there was a man who was very busy and he didn't have time to chant the holy name. So Devarishi Narada, the celestial traveler, right, the sannyasi, he visited that person and he said, please chant the holy name. And this personality said, oh, actually I have no time. I'm very busy. So Narad Muni said, how about early in the morning? He said, no, I'm very busy. So how about at night? Oh, I'm very busy. How about during the day? Oh, I'm very busy. So then Narad Muni, because he's a preacher, he's very witty and very sharp. So he said, how about the time when you take a shower? he thought about it and he said, what can I do during a shower? He said, you can chant the names of Ramchandra. Just take shower. You're not doing anything else. You're just washing your body. So chant the holy name. So this man was perplexed and he asked Narad Muni, can I actually chant the name of God in the washroom, in the bathroom? Narad Muni said, yes. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvam Nama Namino. The name of the holy name of Shri Krishna is Purna Shuddha and Nitya Mukta. It is always pure and ever liberating. It never gets contaminated. Even if you chant the holy name of the Lord in a filthy place, the filthy place becomes a holy place, but the holy name never becomes filthy. So this man, he took this instruction and he started chanting Ram, 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 Ram when he's taking his shower. And whenever there is the name of Sri Ramchandra chanted, who comes in? Hanumanji. So Hanumanji was flying over that place and he heard this loud utterance of the holy name of Ramchandra. And he landed. And he came outside and he said, this man is such a fool. He's chanting the holy name of the Lord in the washroom. It's such a filthy place. You cannot chant the name of Ramchandra there. What does he think of Ramchandra's name as? It is so pure. Let him come out. I'll teach him a lesson. And you know, when Hanuman decides to teach you a lesson, So Hanuman was standing outside and this person took very transcendental shower and he came out and here was Vayuputra Hanuman, who was very powerful, and he just punched him on the face. This person, he was baffled. He said, even before I could prostrate myself in front of you, you've actually given me your mercy. He said, what is the reason for this punch? Hanuman told him, the name of Ramchandra cannot be chanted inside. What do you think? So this man didn't say, actually, Narada Muni told me. So therefore, he didn't want to create a transcendental fight between them. So he said, oh, it's my mistake. I should have realized this. Then he stopped. Hanuman felt very happy because he corrected somebody on the path of bhakti. He flew all the way and he went to Ayodhya. And Ramchandra was sitting with his hand on his cheek. So when Hanuman told him the whole story, Ramchandra actually showed him the mark on his cheek. The punch that Hanuman gave on the cheek of the devotee, the imprint or the mark came on Ramchandra's face. So Hanuman was very sorry. He said, my lord, I don't understand the moral of this whole story. Ramchandra said, the only moral to the story is that my name and me are not different. There's no difference between my form, my qualities, and my transcendental name. So you punch the devotee who was chanting my name in a pure state. That is not very good. That punch, the imprint has actually come on my face. So therefore, Hanuman, you must understand the holy name, Ramchandra's holy name or Shri Krishna's holy name is Chintamani. It's transcendental. And therefore, there is no consideration of time and place. In fact, in Ramchandra's Leelas, Vibhishan, Ravana's brother, was so intelligent as a preacher that he wanted to spread the holy name of Ramchandra everywhere. So when he came into his own palace, on the walls, he ordered all his ministers to write Ram, 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 Ram on all the walls. So when Ravana came there and he asked him, what nonsense is this? You're staying in my kingdom and you're writing the name of my enemy all on the walls. Vibhishan very wittily said, no, my lord, Ravana, that is Ram. The Ra is Ravana and Ma is Mandodari. Ravana's wife is Mandodari. So Vibhishan said that Ram is not Ayodhyapati Ram. That Ra is Ravana and Ma is Mandodari. And to remember you all, I have written your holy name everywhere. Ravana became so fooled, he ordered immediately, all the houses in the whole of Lanka should have this name. So in that way, very diplomatically, Vibhishan, he spread the glories of the holy name. So devotees have to be very intelligent according to time, place, circumstance, how to preach and at the same time, how to practice themselves. So here, Mother Yashoda was churning and at the same time chanting singing and remembering. So Krishna is attracted by this process of chanting and remembering. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayeshu va yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami narada. It is described in the Puranas that the Supreme Lord mentions to Narada Muni that I don't stay in Vaikunta, nor do I stay in the hearts of the meditative, contemplative sages. Where do I stay? Yatra gayanti mad bhakta tatra tishtami narada. Wherever my loving devotees sing of me, remember me, that's the place, O Narada, where I reside. So therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has mercifully given us this process of Yuga Dharma, which is Harinam Sankirtan, that you can invoke the Supreme Potency even on the streets, simply by loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Krishna, he came and climbed onto the lap of Mother Yashoda, desiring to drink her milk. And as Mother Yashoda started feeding Krishna her milk, which was filled with so much of maternal love, Krishna was very pleased. But at the same time, the milk on the stove that Mother Yashoda had kept, out of this Padma Gandha, high quality milk, that was overboiling. And it was overboiling over the vessels, overflowing, so to speak. The Acharyas explain the reason why the milk on the stove was overboiling. Do you want to hear? Yes? In the spiritual world, there is nothing which is inanimate. Like, for example, the microphone would walk, the milk would talk, the book would cry, the pen will feel. Everything is animate. There is no inanimate. There is no jadvatstu. Everything is Satchitananda, and everything is completely spiritual and animate. So this milk on the stove started thinking, we come from the best possible cows only with the desire that Krishna will accept us. But Mother Yashoda's milk is so pure and so tasty that we will never be accepted by Krishna. We come from the best possible cows, we are nourished in the best possible way, we are preserved and stored in the best possible way. Still, it is Mother Yashoda's milk which Krishna is accepting. There is no use of our existence. Let us jump into fire and commit suicide. And thinking this, the milk started overboiling. And in fact, even started jumping into the fire. Mother Yashoda, when she saw this milk overboiling, she had two options, as we discussed. Either she could keep Krishna on her lap and keep feeding him and let that milk overboil, or she could drop Krishna down and run and store that milk. So using the intelligence, Hare Krishna. So using the intelligence that Shri Krishna provides us, Paramatma, Mother Yashoda, she put Krishna down and ran to get that milk. Now Shri Krishna, who was acting as a little boy, the sweetheart in Vrindavan, he became very angry and he started biting his swollen red lips. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that Krishna is giving us a very beautiful lesson out of this pastime. The red lips of Krishna represents the mode of passion or anger, and the white teeth of Krishna represent the mode of goodness or peace. So Krishna is biting his red lips with his white teeth to explain that whenever a devotee gets angry, they must subdue the anger with peace. Just like Krishna bit his red lips with his white teeth, a devotee must subdue his red anger with white peace. So Krishna became very angry, and we discussed how he threw the stone and broke the pots and created a whole mess there. The yogurt was all over the place, the pots were broken, the stone was everywhere, Krishna was missing. Mother Yashoda could collect the milk, but she returned and saw that Krishna is missing, and there's total mess, and she concluded it's the work of Sri Krishna. Then she went into the other room because she could follow Krishna not just through the small butter footprints, but also through the tinkling of the ankle bells. And Krishna was sitting on the upside down wooden grinding motor and feeding this butter to all the monkeys. Mother Yashoda was so furious. If Krishna was sitting and eating, then she would still be fine because she was collecting all of this for him. But here was Krishna feeding the monkeys who get increased strength only to come and create more disturbance. And the monkeys are never a source of happiness for Mother Yashoda, because she will always make something and the monkeys will come and break it. So she never liked the monkeys. In fact, she used to shout at Krishna and scold him, being with the monkeys, you are behaving like a monkey. Because sometimes Mother Yashoda used to walk and Krishna used to catch hold of her sari like a baby monkey holds the mother. And Mother Yashoda is walking and Krishna is holding her so tightly. Just like in Vrindavan, you would see that when the monkeys jump from one branch to another, the baby monkeys hold on to the mother so tightly that they don't fall during the jump. So Krishna was looking like a baby monkey holding on to the mother monkey. So Mother Yashoda used to say, you're cute, but being with the monkeys, you become a monkey. You're acting like a monkey. You're stealing like the monkey. You're eating dirt like the monkey. In fact, you're even looking like a monkey. Of course, out of sweet love. And when Mother Yashoda saw Krishna like this, she took a whipping stick, hid it behind her back, and started running behind Krishna. As soon as the monkeys got to know that Mother Yashoda is coming from behind, they signaled to Krishna, they ran away, the crows and the birds flew away, and Krishna started running. Shukadeva Goswami describes so wonderfully that Mother Yashoda, who was comparatively older, and because of her bodily features, she had big hips and she had big breasts, because of which she couldn't run too fast. But Krishna, as a baby, was just jumping over, sliding over the butter. He had his plans. He used to, in fact, one Acharya even writes that Krishna, because he was a baby, never ran in the straight line. He was jumping over and through the turns and the twists. Mother Yashoda was finding it very difficult. And as she was running, her sari was getting loosened and her hair was loosening. The flower on the hair was falling down. And she would stop, gasping, put the stick on the floor and then tie her sari and again start running. Tie her hair and again start running. And Krishna, he's gasping and he would look where Mother Yashoda is. Oh, she's coming, and then start running again. We see these things children do even now. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam bodhabhava samanvita. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. O Arjuna, everything emanates from me. Everything comes from Krishna. Sometimes when we hear this, we understand, okay, the worlds come from Krishna, the creation comes from Krishna. But we fail to understand the sweetness, the beauty, the attraction that we find in this world also finds its ultimate origin and source from Sri Krishna. We are attracted to small things and the sweet things that children in this world do, and our heart melts. What to speak of Sri Krishna? Raghupati Upadhyay in Gaur Lila, an associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he makes a point. He says that people might worship Vishnu as the all-powerful Supreme Lord. People might worship Krishna as the king in Dwaraka. People might worship Krishna as the killer of Kamsa in Mathura. People might even consider Krishna to be very special in Vrindavan. But my worshipable Lord our lords are Nanda and Yashoda, in whose courtyard that Supreme Personality crawled. When we think of God, it is somebody who is very great, isn't it? Somebody who is very special. But in Vrindavan, they don't consider Krishna to be very special. They don't consider Krishna to be God. They don't want to know he is God. In fact, our acharyas explain there are 5 kinds of knowledge. The first knowledge is called as Jada Jnana, or the knowledge of this world. The materialistic, mundane knowledge. And that is considered as ignorance. It is like saying, I can see darkness. Then what are you actually seeing? So it's like saying, I know the material world. Oh, I understand this. But in the spiritual sense, that is as good as ignorance. The second level of knowledge is called as Atma Jnana. The knowledge, the theoretical understanding of matter and spirit. It need not be very practical and realized and experienced, but at least the theoretical understanding that we are not matter, we are spirit, and we are embodied in this material body. The third type of knowledge is called as impersonal knowledge. Nirbheda Brahma Jnana. The knowledge that many spiritualists have, that God is formless, I am God, you are God, therefore you are me. Very confusing. Better not understand it. Very confusing. Impersonalism. Where they say God is formless, and they even go on to say that I am God, you are God, everybody else is God. The reason we don't think we are God is because that's our Lila. So it's not a very bona fide understanding. The fourth stage of knowledge is called as Ishwara Aishwarya Jnana. The knowledge of the Supreme Lord, Sri Vishnu or Ramchandra or Narsimha or Sri Krishna in a majestic, opulent way. You worship them, you admire them, you adore them, you approach them because they are God. Right? Any examples of that? Sorry? Mirabai is described in the most intimate level of love. Of course, that's a good try. Any more answers? Any personality whom you remember in any of the scriptures who approached the Supreme Lord and was completely awestruck? Arjuna. Okay. When was it?
Before the Mahabharata, like just before the war.
I will give you 50 points, but not 100 points.
You want to know when in the Bhagavad Gita he approached?
Exactly. When in the Bhagavad Gita is Arjuna completely awestruck by the Supreme Lord's majesty?
When he shows him his some Swarupa, I forgot that.
Virat Rupa?
Virat Rupa, yeah.
Wonderful. Which chapter in the Bhagavad Gita is that?
16th or 18th?
Previous? Little. You're there, but yes? Chapter 11.
Oh.
Chapter 11 is universal form. So, all those who haven't read chapter 11, the assignment for tonight is you have to go and read chapter 11. And you have to understand what was the mood of Arjuna when he saw this. In fact, it is described that here, it was so interesting that I even wrote it down, that Arjuna, when before he saw the universal form, he considered Krishna to be his best friend. Best friend. He used to deal with Krishna on equal status. Talk to Krishna, sometimes order Krishna with authority. But once he saw this universal form, he says, Sakheti matva prasabham yaduktam he Krishna he Yadava he Sakheti ajanata mahimanam tavedam mai pramadena pranayena vapi. He says, Oh Shri Krishna, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. You're actually God. And I addressed you as, Hey Krishna, oh my friend. Hey Krishna, hey Yadava, oh Govinda. I was calling you by names, but you're actually God. And I called you that, maybe out of love, but maybe out of my madness. Mai pramadena pranayena vapi. It could be out of love, too much of intimacy, or it could simply be madness. Oh Krishna, please forgive me. So you find here very interesting point. Please please note this very carefully, that the Supreme Lord, who was actually a friend for Arjuna, when he displayed his opulence, the mood of Arjuna diminished. The friendship or sakhya that Arjuna had with Krishna diminished seeing Krishna's opulence. Another example, we see in the Krishna book in Mathura. Who can answer this? It's a little tougher than the previous question, but who can answer this? What happens to Devaki and Vasudev when they see Krishna and Balram smash Mushtik and Chanur? What's the mood of Devaki and Vasudev? What is their relation with Krishna? Right. They have this Vatsalya Prem, right? Parenthood. But when they see Krishna and Balram smash all these wrestlers like Mushtik, Chanur, and finally drag Kamsa and kill him, Devaki and Vasudev start thinking, oh, Krishna and Balram, maybe they're God. We just took them so cheaply as our sons. They're actually God. Oh God. Oh my God. In the true sense. They're actually God and we treated them as sons. This is a big mistake. This is a very big mistake. So what happens to their Vatsalya or parental love here? Diminishes. Seeing Krishna's opulence, so we find how Arjuna's mood of friendship diminished, the mood of Vasudeva and Devaki diminished. Any more examples of the mood diminishing? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes, in all the places, the Supreme Lord might have friends, might have parenthood, might have all the relations. But as soon as the opulence is shown, their mood diminishes. But in Vrindavan, in the 35th chapter of the 10th canto, it is described, also in the Krishna book. The chapter is called as Yugal Geet. The gopis are describing the pastimes of Krishna in 2 verses each. So there they say, they are describing the feel of Krishna returning back to Vrindavan. So the scene is Krishna all day, he spends time with his friends. And now along with his friends and calves and cows, is returning back to his village. And the gopis are describing what these cowherd boys are seeing. They are, if you see children, they never walk straight, right? They jump and they frolic, they dance, they sing, even now. So these boys, they're dancing and playing the flute and the bugle and the buffalo horn and dancing and skipping and frolicking. And Krishna who's coming is welcomed by not just small Upadevatas like Kinnaras or Kimpurushas or Siddhas, but great demigods. Brahma comes on his swan. He parks his vehicle and offers all his prayers possible to Krishna. And then Shiva comes down, Indra comes down, Lord Ganesha comes down, Kartikeya comes down, and they all take their daily darshan of Shri Krishna as he enters Vrindavan. And these boys are seeing all this. And you know what their feeling is? Is it majestic? Oh my goodness. He's God and we are treating him as a friend. Their mood is, he might be God, but their pride is, my friend is God. You see the difference? For people in Kurukshetra, in Dwaraka, in Mathura, as soon as Krishna's opulence is shown, their natural mood diminishes. Because their mood is inferior to Krishna's majesty. But in Vrindavan, the mood of the Brajavasis is so high, so superior even to Krishna's majesty, that even when they see that Krishna's opulent and he is God, they say, he might be God, but he's my friend. They're proud. My friend is God. You say he's God? He's my friend. They don't become inferior to God. Oh, is he God? So I'm supposed to serve him. He's God, but he's my friend. So they give prominence to their relationship. This is Vrindavan. Aradhyo Bhagavan Vrajesha Tanayas Tad Dhama Vrindavanam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains the love of the Vrajavasis is topmost. And this takes me to the fifth point, the fifth stage of knowledge. What are the four stages we discussed? Jada Jnana, or the knowledge of this material world. Atma Jnana, the difference between matter and spirit. Nirbeda Brahma Jnana, impersonal stage. Fourth is Aishwarya Jnana, Ishwara Aishwarya Jnana, the mood of approaching the Lord because of his opulence. And the fifth is the mode you find in Vrindavan, that is Shuddha Madhurya Jnana. Purely spiritual. Even Mother Yashoda, when Gargacharya, he said that your son is Narayana Sama. He is equivalent or very much similar to Narayana in qualities. Nanda and Yashoda felt he might be God, but he is our child. They are not overcome by this feeling that, oh, he's God, therefore he will protect us, he will maintain us. No. Mother Yashoda still feels he might be God, but I have to maintain him. I have to feed him. I have to put him to sleep. I have to give him a bath. If I don't feed him my milk, your God will go hungry. This is her love. And you find the same mode even in Gaur Lila. When Jagannath Mishra, the father of Nimai Pandit, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, when Jagannath Mishra used to scold or reprimand Nimai, the Brahmins of Nadia, Navadvip, used to tell Jagannath Mishra, you're chastising your son, don't you know he's God? Jagannath Mishra used to say, you mind your business. He might be God, but it is my duty as a father to chastise him. So you find how their love is so pure, completely pure. It has no tinge of any sort of knowledge. Right? But Prabhupada gives a word of caution here. Those who try to jump from first level, which is Jada Jnana, to the fifth level, which is Shuddha Madhurya Jnana, in the sense that, oh, from today, I am Krishna's mother, and I will feed Krishna, and Krishna is my son, and artificially try to come to this platform, Prabhupada says that is Mayavad. It is also called as Sahajiya. Sahaj means taking it easy. So very easily, you consider yourself to be Mother Yashoda, and you think Krishna is your child. Maybe that could be a reality in the future, in the sense that we cannot become Mother Yashoda, but we could follow in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda in our perfected stage. Prabhupada explains how we must attentively hear the Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 1 to Canto 10, not jump to Canto 10. Canto 1 to 9 talk about the opulence, the majestic royal position of Krishna being God. And then Canto 10 talks about his sweetness. So in the development of our bhakti also, we all start from Jada Jnana, where we are just aware of this material world and Maya. Then when we come to the temple, the devotees tell us, we are not this body, we are spirit soul. We are not this body, we are spirit soul. Krishna says, you are not this body, you are spirit soul. So we come to the level of Atma Jnana. You don't have to come to the third level. You can skip to the fourth, where you worship the Lord because he is God. When you see the deity, you cannot just, embrace him and kiss him the way you want. You have to have a safe distance. You have to worship him because you have to have a respectable distance. That Ishwara Aishwarya Gyan should be there. And then by Krishna's mercy, and when we get purified in our path, our natural inclination and love will arise. But artificially trying to jump to that platform is not recommended. It is a real nice paradox that to love Krishna without the consideration of he being God, we have to learn to worship Krishna thinking that he is God. Only when you substantially cleanse ourselves by worshipping Krishna thinking that he is God, will we stand a chance to come to a platform where we love Krishna without that consideration. Right? So there are so many such instances where the pure devotees of the Lord, they're completely purified by the process of remembrance of Shri Krishna, and now they can relate to Krishna directly. Even in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, the book by Srila Sanatan Goswami, the example of Gop Kumar is given. So this Gop Kumar is actually a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. I'm sorry, he's a cowherd boy in Govardhan. And now he, as he gets liberated, he's taken to the different planets on his way back home, back to Godhead. And he is even given a chance to go to Vaikuntha. Now please note, in Vaikuntha, Vishnu is worshipped as the all-knowing, all-opulent, supreme Lord. Right? Even if there is some sakhya or little friendship, it is nowhere close to what you find in the spiritual kingdom of Goloka Vrindavan. So as he went to Vaikuntha and he saw Vishnu, because he's a cowherd boy originally from Govardhan, he saw Vishnu and he started shouting, "Hey Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Yadava." And the people in Vaikuntha, they started saying, "Hey, calm down. Take care of your ecstasy. This is not the place where you express yourself like this. You have to chant the Purusha Sukta. You have to have your nice mudras. You have to approach the Lord in a very respectable way. It is a place of maryada or etiquette. You cannot break your etiquette." So Gopkumar felt very out of place. And then finally, when he went back to Goloka and he saw Krishna as a cowherd boy, he embraced him. He said, "This is the most perfect place I have seen in the whole of creation." So in all the planetary systems you find, even in the spiritual world, like Vaikuntha, Ramchandra's abode, right? And even in Krishna's planet, in Dwaraka and in Mathura, there is a relation with Krishna because he's the Supreme Personality, right? But only in Vrindavan, in Sri Vrindavan Dham, they don't care whether he's God or no. So this is the exalted position of Mother Yashoda. Now please, on the basis of that philosophical backing, try understanding how Mother Yashoda, being a simple village girl in Vrindavan, is running behind the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Divyai Stavair Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyana Vasti Tatad Gatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogina Yasyantam Na Viduru Sura Asura Gana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. The scriptures describe this Krishna is he whose lotus feet is worshipped not just by people in the material world who want to get liberated, but even people who are liberated. They worship Krishna because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is worshipped by Indra. He is worshipped by Brahma, who is considered to be the creator of the material world. He is worshipped by Shiva. He is worshipped by Varuna. He is worshipped by Vayu. He is worshipped by Agni. That Krishna, he is described and glorified in all the verses of the Vedas. That Krishna appears as Paramatma. And the yogis who sit in contemplative meditation for thousands and thousands of years, they see him as Paramatma. And that Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord, who has no beginning, no middle, no end, no interior, no exterior, no front, no rear, that Sri Krishna, as a helpless child in Vrindavan, is running in fear of Mother Yashoda's whipping stick. Inconceivable, isn't it? How do we understand this? In fact, Shukadev Goswami, in one of these verses, he even describes, I would like to read that translation. It is so wonderful. For those who are watching this, please move to Canto 10, Chapter 9, text 13 and 14, and the translation by Srila Prabhupada is as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has no beginning and no end, no exterior and no interior, no front and no back, that Supreme Lord who is all-pervading, who is never under the influence of the element of time, for him there is no difference between past, present and future. He exists in his own transcendental form at all times. He is absolute, beyond relativity. He is free from distinction between cause and effect. That unmanifested person who is beyond the perception of the senses had now appeared as a human child, and Mother Yashoda, considering him her own ordinary child, bound him to the wooden motor with a rope. Inconceivable. She's running behind Krishna to actually chastise and punish him. The scriptures, in fact, even describe that the sun rises, the moon rises, the fire burns, the wind blows, all of this only with the fear of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The Vedas describe that the fire burns because it fears Sri Krishna. The wind blows because it fears Sri Krishna. The sun rises, it sets. The moon rises, it sets because of fear from Sri Krishna. We fear death. Death fears Krishna. And Krishna is running in fear from Mother Yashoda's whipping stick. Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Brahma says, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchitananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Describes, people think that I am the creator, but the supreme personality of Godhead is Sri Krishna. He is the cause of all causes. Even I come from him. Lord Shiva, who is the destroyer of everything, as Rudra, he says, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu Aradhanam Param. Of all forms of worship, this worship to Sri Krishna or Vishnu is topmost because he is Supreme Lord. And Krishna, he mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, Matta parataram nanyat kinjidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva. Brahma says Krishna is God, Lord Shiva says Krishna is God, Indra says Krishna is God, Varuna says Krishna is God, Agni says Krishna is God, and Krishna says, yes, I am God. And that supreme personality of Godhead, who has nothing to fear, who has nothing to lose and nothing to gain, he's running in fear from Mother Yashoda. Now we spoke from Mother Yashoda's side that her maternal love or her parental love, Vatsalya Ras, is so high that it covers her conception that Krishna is God. Even when Mother Yashoda saw the universal creation in Krishna's mouth, she was in a dilemma. Am I dreaming? I'm seeing this whole world into Krishna's mouth. Am I dreaming? Maybe because I'm too tired? No, I'm not dreaming because my eyes are open. Is Indra trying to put some spell around me? That's also not possible because I'm a simple Brajavasi. What has Indra to gain or lose from me? The third idea, is Krishna really God? Oh, that's impossible. Because when there's a show of lightning, this Krishna becomes afraid and he's shaking in fear and he comes and runs and holds my sari. When this Krishna he feels hungry and he feels thirsty, he comes and pulls my sari and he says, Mother, can you feed me? This Krishna, when he feels cold and he feels scared at night, he comes and wraps himself around me. He cannot be God. Do we see the sweetness of Mother Yashoda's heart? In fact, when people came and said, your Lala, your son is actually God, she said, get lost. Don't try to make Krishna public. God means he belongs to everyone. My Krishna belongs only to me. I cannot share my Krishna with anyone. In fact, Mother Yashoda prayed to Vishnu, why is there so much of calamity on my Krishna? Is it because of his past karma? His past life karmas? If you're punishing him for his past life karma, you put me in hell. You punish me, but don't let my Krishna suffer. We prayed to Krishna for our protection, and here is Mother Yashoda praying to Vishnu for Krishna's protection. This is love. Atmendra priti vancha tari boli kam, Krishnendra priti vancha dhari prem nam. When we keep asking from God, that is lust. When we ask for God, that is love. So when we serve Krishna, we have to be very careful. In the practitioner stage, we have to serve him, respect him, and approach him thinking he is God. But then, as Krishna purifies us, there will be a day, by the mercy of Guru Gauranga and Krishna, where the spiritual illusory potency of Yoga Maya will cover us and we'll deal with Krishna in our natural inclination. In fact, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes in Vrindavan, only after Govardhan Lila, the Brajavasis believed that he is God. How could Krishna hold the Giriraj Govardhan Parvat for 7 days and 7 nights? He is definitely God. But did that diminish their feeling? The friends started saying, he is God, but my friend is God. So in that way, we find how Mother Yashoda is running to catch Krishna from her side. And we find from Krishna's side that there's fear in his eyes. I have a question. Is Krishna acting? Or is Krishna really afraid? One, if he is acting just for the pastime, what is the sweetness in that? And second, if he is not acting and if he is really afraid, what kind of a God is he who is getting afraid? What do you think is the answer?
I think he's acting to set an example for the world that no matter who you are, your mother is always above you in status, and there's always this reverence and this fear that should be there in your mind. Your mother comes to you with a walking stick. So I think he's acting.
Let's see what Queen Kunti has to say. This is Canto 1, Chapter 8, text 30 and 31. She says, of course it is bewildering, O soul of the universe, that you work though you are inactive, and that you take birth though you are the vital force and the unborn. You yourself descend among animals, men, sages, and aquatics. Verily, this is very bewildering. My dear Krishna, Mother Yashoda took up a rope to bind you when you committed an offense, and your perturbed eyes over-flooded with tears, which washed the mascara from your eyes, and you were afraid. Though fear personified is afraid of you, this sight is bewildering me. So the last point for the day is Queen Kunti's take, or her answer to this question, is that Supreme Lord, whom everything fears, he is actually afraid. Why is he actually afraid? Because the love of Mother Yashoda is so intense that so she has forgotten that Krishna is God, and Krishna himself has forgotten that he is God, and he is actually in that role, and he is crying and feeling afraid. So on that note, in this discussion we covered the central theme of how the love of the Brajavasis in Vrindavan is topmost. So we'll stop here for the day. So tomorrow we'll continue from this point. Thank you so much for joining in, and may this discussion help all of us. Shri Shri Radha Damodar ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.